All right, hey everybody. These are the supplies you're going to need for today's lesson. Notebook number 1, a pencil, highlighter, the blue cards that we cut out, which you're seeing along the sides, and workbook page 9 and 10, which are our front and back. If you don't have the highlighter, we'll highlight the things tomorrow in class. If you don't have the blue cards or all of them, we'll figure it out tomorrow. You can still give this a try. You're going to give this your best shot, and then you're going to come to class with the workbook page complete the best you could, and that's going to help me know what to do with you tomorrow, okay? So you can go ahead and pause if you need to go get these materials, and then start it once you have everything that you need. Our note page is going to look like this. You'll notice that I have a few words highlighted, which means you're going to have to write some words into the glossary. Again, you can pause the video and copy those, this page into your notes. Then you will be writing into the glossary. So again, you can pause the video and you're going to write definitions for the words number 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are terms you're going to hear me say. These are terms you're going to see in directions when you're working on math, so it's important that you know these. So again, you can pause and then unpause when you're all set. All right, our goal today is to be able to round and compare multi-digit numbers to the thousands place. A digit is a symbol. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a symbol that makes up numbers. The word multi means more than one. So if you have a number that is larger than just the ones place, you have a multi-digit number because you have more than one digit. When we round a number, you will see directions that say, give the nearest value or go to the nearest place. They'll designate it like a nearest place value. When we round something, it means that we're giving an approximate value. We're giving a close value, okay? You'll also hear the word nearest. So we're going to do a couple of these together, and then I'm going to want you to do the best that you can to complete the rest. I did star numbers 6, 12, and 18 because those are little special ones that they don't break a rule, but they just have something different that happens to them. You might remember this from 3rd grade anyways, so you can go ahead and give it a try, but I'm not going to explain or remind you what to do on those ones. I'll save that for tomorrow, but I still encourage you to go ahead and give it a try. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and start up here when we need to round to the nearest thousand. I circled number 3 and 5. Those are the ones that we're going to do together. And I'm going to go ahead and make this number with my blue cards. So I need a 5,000, a 400. Again, these are values, right? So I need a 5,000, a 400, an 80, and a 2. I'm going to go ahead and make that number. And we're rounding to the nearest thousand. So the 5 happens to be in the thousands place. Whatever place value you're rounding to, you actually look at the digit that is to its right. You probably heard this last year, that if it's a 0 through a 4, you would round down, and that if it's a 5 or higher, you would round up. I'm going to give you another strategy or visual that you can use to really try to make sense of that. What I end up doing is just kind of making a little hill like this. And I'm going to be writing numbers on the side. I'll be erasing them too. So again, make sure you're writing with pencil. So here's our number. And we want to round it to the nearest thousand. So what that means is this number closest to or closer to 5,000, which is right there, or is it closer to the next thousand up, which would be 6,000? So I'm actually going to write those numbers right here. Okay. And the number that will go at the top of the hill is always the number that is in the middle of the ones that are on the side. So these are 1,000 apart, and half of 1,000 is 500. So the middle would be 5,500. Here was our original. We have to round that one to the nearest thousands. Is it going to go on this side? Like, is it going to fall in between these two numbers, or will it go on that side, on the right? Okay. You should have said that it will go right here, right? It's pretty close to right here. Okay. So if it doesn't hit the top of the hill or go over, then we're going to say it's closer to this number. We're rounding down. If it's at the hill or this way, it's closer to that one, and we will round up. And what this does is just prove to you that if you look to the digit to the right, it's a 0 through a 4, we're going to round down. So 5,482 rounded to the nearest thousands place is going to be 5,000. So that's what we would write for number 3. Now we're going to do number 5 together. So we're going to make a 1,501. $1,501. And I'm going to go ahead and erase these because I'm using a different number. $1,501. And again, we're still rounding to the nearest thousands place. So I want to know which thousands it's closest to. So you'll take the Q from there, right? Here's my one that's going to go on that side, and then the next one up would be 2,000. In the middle will be 1,500. So 1,501, which side would it be on? Well, it's going to go on this side. It's really close. It's like right here, right? Okay. But it's still over on this side of the hill, so we would say if we round 1,501 to the nearest thousands, it's going to be closer to 2,000. So you'll complete numbers 1, 2, 4, and give 6 a try. You might be surprised by what you remember from last year. Now we're going to round to the nearest 100. So we're going to do numbers 9 and 11 together. So I want you to make number 178. And I'm going to erase this. You don't always have to erase. You could also just make a new one. But. All right. 178, and our directions were round to the nearest 100. So I want to know which hundreds this is closest to. Is it closest to 100? Or the next 100 up would be 200. Is it closer to that one? In the middle of 100 and 200 is going to be 150. Okay. So where would 178 fall on that? Well, it's going to go over here. It's between the top of the hill and here. So 178 rounded to the nearest 100 is going to be 200. Let's go ahead and make 8,251. Okay, here is our number, 8,251. Again, we're still just rounding to the nearest 100. Even though this is a large number that goes all the way up to the thousands place, I only want to round to the nearest 100. So when I'm trying to figure out what two numbers this is between, I'm actually just going to remove the 1 and the tens, and I'll see right there what number it's between. 8,200. Okay. And the next 100 up would be 300, like that. The number that comes in the middle of these would be 8,250. All right, so here was our original. Is it going to be on the left-hand side or is it going to be on the right? You should have said it's going to be over here. So we would round this number up to 8,300. All right, and when rounding to the nearest 10, let's go ahead and make these numbers. I'm going to make 171. I want to know whether this is, which nearest 10 this is closest to. So I would just remove that ones, and this tells me, oh, I need to know if it's between 170, or if I went up another 10, if it's between 180. In the middle of these two 10s would be 175. So where would this fall? Is it going to be before the middle there, or is it going to be after? You should say it's here, so that means we are going to round it down to the lower 10s. So 171 is closest to 170. And then number 16, let's go ahead and make 2,165. We're still just rounding to the nearest 10s. Even though this is a large number and it goes all the way up to the thousands place, we're only looking at rounding to the nearest 10s. So I want to figure out what nearest 10s this is in between. So I would just remove that ones place digit, and I got 2,160, and my next 10 would be the 70, right? So 2,170. In the middle of these 60 and this 70 would be a 65, so we would have 2,165. All right, so where does this fall? Well, it happens to be right at the top. And I said earlier that if it's at the top of the hill, you're going to round it up. You're going to go to that largest number. So this one, when we round it to the nearest 10s, would be 2,170. All right, so you're going to give the rest of that page your best effort and come back tomorrow, with any questions, with work completed as best you can. On the other side is comparing. So this is when we are using symbols greater than, less than, or equal to. Numbers 19, 20, and 21, those are a two-step problem. It wants you to first draw a place value model, and then second, complete that. So I'm just going to do one with you real quick. We'll do number 21. If we made a place value model for 26, we would have 2 quick 10s, and we would have 6 dots. And we're going to compare that to 62, which is 6 quick 10s. Wow, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 dots. And we know I've already made more 10s over here, so we can see that this is bigger. Remember that the open part of the symbol, the greater than or less than symbol, is always open to the largest number. It's always eating the largest one, so we would go like that. And we would say 26 is less than 62. So you're gonna do that for numbers 19 and 20. And here's my suggestion. I'm not gonna go over all these because of the length of the video already, but this side of the worksheet is really trying to, make you analyze the numbers and look really closely at the numbers, because it's using the same digits but just in different orders. So what I tend to do if I really need to see something clearly is I will write the numbers on top of one another. So I might take, so here's this 85, I might write 58 underneath it. Okay, and I'm always going to start from the larger place value, right? So if I'm looking at my 10s first, oh, I see the 8. That's more 10s than 5. So I would say 85 is greater than 58. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let's zoom in a little. And same thing over here on number 26. If I wrote 602 and I lined up my place values, and sometimes I kind of just draw a little line in between there, I'm going to look at the largest place value first, and they both happen to be a 6. Okay, I better go look at my next place value. I'm comparing a 0 and a 2. Well, 2 is larger. That tells me right away that this number is going to be larger than 602. And one last example before I let you off on your own. Again, I can line these numbers up with one another. So 3, 9, 2, 4. I just like to kind of sometimes put a line in between my place values. I'm going to start at the highest place value, so I'm in the thousands. Man, they both have a 3. Okay, I got to go to the next place value. This one has a 2, that one's a 9, so I know that this is the bigger one. It was listed second, so I'm going to actually put a less than sign, because 3,294 is less than 3,924. All right, you guys don't have to do the check understanding, but on either side, and just, I don't think there was either side, well, just on the side. Don't do the check understanding. Come back tomorrow with this completed as best you can, and I will see you guys tomorrow.